Hello, I'm Rod Lindgren. This is the story of my lifelong journey in the martial arts. Part 12. Sharon and I eventually moved to the mighty metropolis of Gardnerville, Nevada. We bought a house in the Ranchos. It was a nice house. Did some modifications, made it more dog friendly because we were still doing dogs pretty heavily. However, we decided that it might be a good idea to have children. So once Sharon became pregnant, I went back into the casinos. I got a job at Carson Valley Inn, dealing again, and it was a good gig. It was a really good gig for a while. I spent 14 years there. One day I come into work, and there's this new guy, and he doesn't look very new. He looks older than me, and I thought, okay. Well, I get to meet him, and it turns out his name is David Hebler. Some of you may recognize that name. He is a Grandmaster of Kenpo Karate. He was also Elvis Presley's bodyguard. Dave had a pink, I want to say it was a Lincoln, but it might have been a Cadillac, but he had this car, had a plaque in it that said from Elvis to Dave or something to that effect, and a nice ring also engraved with a greeting from Elvis Presley. So Dave and I became pretty good buds. He started a karate class in the basement of a church, which I attended quite often with him. We also played a lot of racquetball together. Late in 1988, my first child was born. Sharon gave birth to Richard. And a couple of years later, we had another child, and her name was Rachel. But unfortunately, Sharon's husband made some mistakes. The marriage failed. It was all my fault. Later, I met a woman from San Diego, and it seemed like a match made in heaven. She was a martial artist. I would fly down to San Diego or drive, and I'd go to her karate class with her the night I got down there, and the next morning we'd get up and do stuff and go back to karate, and then if I was driving, she would maybe ride with me back up to Gardnerville from San Diego overnight. And so this was kind of our dating pattern, flying down there, driving back up, then driving back down, flying back up, and going to the karate class. Well, I kept watching this Tangsudo class, and I thought, that's not so much different from what I'm doing. Maybe I should go ahead and take the lessons. So I signed up and became a Tangsudo student. And I made the rank of, in that style, was a red belt, which is about the same as a brown belt in Okinawa-te. I was a third gup, they call it. We would be a third Q. My wife outranks me. She got her promotion a few months before I did. So we got married, and we decided we would move back to Gardnerville. That's where my business was. That was the work I was doing. That was going to make our money, and that worked out fairly well. We ended up starting a business also. It was a video business, Aragon Video Productions. In the meantime, we're still doing martial arts. She had a head injury, and her health started failing a little bit, so she couldn't really keep up the way she'd like to. And the altitude began to give her a problem. She was used to sea level, and Gardnerville was about 4,500 feet, which was enough to give her a problem. Eventually, she moved back to San Diego, and we operated our business by, if we had a shoot to do, she would go to the shoot from San Diego, I would go to the shoot from Gardnerville. And we had built a house in Gardnerville, and this house was only about 4 blocks from an Ishinryu school. And so I went to visit, and this Ishinryu school was run by Diane Hortensio Cooling, and her husband was Grandmaster Toby Cooling, whom I met. I would go down and I would work out with them sometimes. It was a good time. Grandmaster Cooling liked my rendition of Seisan. I also found a black belt, a Shotokan black belt from Shotokan of America, and he was teaching a class, and so I went to that several times, and again, that was a good workout. One of his students was a dental hygienist, and her office was in the building right next to the insurance firm that I was working for. She dropped by my office one day. I hadn't been to their class for quite a while, and she came and asked me to please come back to the Shotokan class. She told me that the spirit level seemed to be so much higher when I was there. I have kind of a loud ki. Anyway, it was nice to be invited. I did go back, and I've never regretted it. All the visiting that I've done to different schools, I've always been welcomed and felt very happy to be there. That was one thing about Woody, and I guess I learned it from him. When we were at the University of Wyoming, Woody was more than happy to have visitors come and participate or observe our classes. Visiting black belts were always welcome. And we had a really great relationship with all the clubs there on campus. We could go visit theirs, they could come visit ours. Sometimes we'd have a whole group come and go and visit. Sometimes our whole class would come and visit ours. It was a really good environment for martial arts. So I kind of maintained that, and I like to have a good relationship with other martial arts in my area. End of part 12.